Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the older man. Today, we're going to touch on that trending topic, the one with Dr. Sinead Bryant and Nick Cannon. I watched two of the episodes that they did, one where she put Brother Nick Cannon under some serious, what can I say? Well, she really psychoanalyzed the hell out of him. But I want you guys to see what I recognize in this interview. Because, to be honest with you, I think she was auditioning. Well, I want to see if you see what I see. Because what I saw was a woman sort of...
Because first of all,
low-functioning woman will allow you to function low with them. Nick, you could not function that low.
So this is
Nick,
everyone's low-functioning at some point in their life.
You cannot function low with a woman of my functioning. Not because I'm superior. Not
for the next baby mama, Nick Cannon position. And listen, man, I don't like to get too deep into the whole speculation thing, but it hit me as I was watching the whole thing. This woman was literally putting down men, powerful men, claiming that she's an alpha, showing Nick Cannon that she is the supreme woman because she's a high-functioning woman, and all the other women that he had were low-functioning. But for me, that is not the position of a psychotherapist. That is not her position to show how great she is and then put down other women and men. You get my point. Listen, man, we're going to go through it. We're going to break it down because you guys, at the end of it, if you don't see what I saw, you let me know. Of course, I'm not going to go through the whole video because it could be a 2-hour video if we did that. But I will have to stop through the video as we play it so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, because I feel that she made some grave errors as a therapist. All right. So my friends, that's what we're going to do today. Let's get into it. But you know what I always ask, please give me a thumbs up on this particular video so that the algorithm will treat me with some kindness. All right. Subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, go over to askanolderman.com. Book a session if you would like to have a chat with me. Or, better yet, join our membership system. We are still free at this point because we haven't started doing anything yet. For those of you that have signed up early, thank you so much, guys. You're going to get that email, I promise you. All right? My wife is back from vacation, and I just got to get her up and running. I'm just getting the kids through school right now. This is day 3 of the school year starting up after summer, so it's been hectic as hell. So first, we're going to get into where she was grilling the crap out of Nick Cannon, and then after that, we're going to get into where he grilled her, and then you'll see what I'm talking about, or not. Okay, let's get into it.
No, I stand on business because more men have said, "Damn, you ain't no joke." By me saying, "Listen, do we want to have resolve right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to do this with you." And you'll see a man's whole everything. I'm shift like who the hell is she? Like, right. What just happened right now? Because like you said, they're not used to that.
I want to touch on that for a second because you bring up some great points, but even specifically to the single women that are watching, and they see you as a strong example. They see the empowerment. They see, but I mean, at the end of the day, what would be your advice or your insight to? I mean, because you are a single woman as well, and is the desire to get married eventually?
It is. I'm in my choosing. I said 4 or 5 months ago, I said, okay, God, I'm in my choosing stage. I'm not going to call up another wedding because the commitment in me is different.
So, and you, like you said, you've had plans that did not go as
oh yeah, I've called off 2 engagements and 2 weddings and.
Oh, I wish Mr. Kevin Samuels was around to witness this. Oh,
I'm a PhD.
Geez.
Okay,
this
congratulations.
Is every single black woman natural, normal script. She's 41 years old and she is in her choosing stage. Oh, God, tell me, how the hell can you be a therapist and think that you got choices at 41 years old with a PhD? Now, the good thing is Nick Cannon, a high-valued man. And when I say high value, meaning he has his money together, he has his business together. He's not out of shape. He's in good shape. He got connections. He have all the things that make him attractive to women. Now, this man knows exactly that he would never marry or even give a woman like this a chance, right? And he's trying to be polite. But it's just, listen to her speech. This is a therapist. Jesus.
Yeah.
Two separate times? So that's 4?
2 separate times.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 separate times.
All right. So you know what you want. You gonna get what you want when you want it. What is your insight and advice to finding this husband out there?
I think it's to be completely open. I think it's to not be a stiff blade of grass. A stiff blade of grass, I say it in my book, Mental Detox, is a dying blade of grass. Meaning you have to not personalize life, but you have to live life.
You hear the mumbo jumbo this woman is pushing. Ask her a very simple question. What is it going to take for you at this age in your life? Oh, you shouldn't be a stiff blade of grass. What does that mean? You should have said, I need to realize that I need to compromise. Not no stiff. I can get the analogy, but the point is that you just need to freaking say it. It's very difficult for women to just say, listen, I need to freaking settle for what I can get at this point. That's what it means. But she can't say those words, can she? That would go against the sisterhood for sure. Wow.
And you have to be okay with getting experiences without judging yourself as a woman based on what those experiences are. Whether the experience is a week or a month or a year and it doesn't work, you got to be able to give fully what you want to give and what you want to invest without feeling like you were robbed in the event it doesn't work. Because the feeling of robbery then dissipates you and your value and makes you question who you are and puts you in a doubtful space. And if we're talking about law of attraction, you can't attract high functioning from a place of low vibration. So you have to make sure that you understand that life is not doing nothing to you, it's doing it for you. It's meant to be lived and not personalized, and be okay with your experiences. And for the women who are up in age, when I say up in age, you could be in your 30s and you're not married yet and you are in your career or you're trying to figure things out.
Did any of you guys or women understood what the hell she was saying in pure English? The amount of word salad that was combined in that one sentence, trying to explain when you're going to get your shit together and get married. What do you have to do? That's all he asked. What do you have to do? None of what she said will help any woman get ahead. It's freaking insane. But this is what black women do to each other. And these are the people that are leading them. Doctors, the real people that are supposed to be helping the community. This is the kind of crap you're going to get from the people who are supposed to help women. Holy Jesus, man.
Make your self-talk question not be, why am I not married yet? Let your self-talk question and dialogue be, I'm proud of myself that I didn't choose out of despair, that I allowed myself as a woman to choose on my terms, on my time, and when I felt like it. Because when you do it like that, then it's more apt to work. So take your time and do you, and don't personalize it, because you have a lot of people who already been married a few times. That could easily be you. But for the people who have been married a few times and do have kids and they're co-parenting, I would say that number 1, 2, get your emotional intelligence up. If you don't have a therapist and you can't afford it.
Wow. Take your time at age 40, 41 to actually decide the right man for you, because you're not choosing from a place of desperation at that point. Apparently, you were choosing from a place of desperation when you were younger. How the hell does that make sense? Please, anyone tell me that I am wrong right now. How the hell does that make sense? When she was younger and had more choices with men, that was a place of desperation. But now she's older. Literally, she's at geriatric pregnancy at 41. Very, very dangerous for her to have her first child at this point. This is the kind of black leaders that we have in our community. Holy crap. Woo! This is exasperating for me, man. I'm like, I listened to this morning and I'm like, holy crap.
Read books on it. YouTube has free videos on emotional intelligence. And the best way to implement knowledge, because knowledge is not power, the implementation of knowledge is power, is to go out there and experience it. So for like myself,
that is the truest things that she's ever said. But she's definitely not using that knowledge. She is not using it. She has no power, because that knowledge should have told her that, hey, I should have gotten a man back in my 20s. And now that I'm in my 40s, if I don't want to actually die alone, I should actually just find a good man that I can settle down with and have a great life. He doesn't have to make more than me. He doesn't have to be the top dude. But you'll see that is not what she's looking for, my friend.
I had to date and get into conflict with men so that I can use my emotional intelligence tool. And I remember when I first started trying to use it, I'm like, damn, I totally messed that up. I blew that. Like, I totally blew that, right? I didn't mean to emasculate him, but damn, I didn't mean to come off that straw. I blew that up. But now it's to the point where it's on autopilot. Yeah. And I know the dialogue and I know the level of relationship I want. And then two, don't knock yourself for showing up in ways that go against your ideology. Right. And be open to dating someone who is outside of your norm of what you think he should be, because what you think he should be is based on what you've already experienced. Yeah. And if what you experience is what you want, baby, go back. Yeah. But if not, be open to it.
Holy crap. Listen, she has a point. You got to learn to actually explore other options. If you were dating a certain type of man before and it didn't work out, switch up. Because most of the guys that most women date in their early lives are usually the bad boys, the toxic men, the men that are going to give them a hell of a lot of trouble. Now they're in their 30s and 40s. She's saying, okay, yeah, look at something else. But she's not applying the same rule. She's not. Because if she did, with her PhD and her money, etc., she would have easily found a man that was on her level or below. But hypergamy is a bitch. She's not moving there. She's not going for that. But she's preaching, oh, you got to switch it up. Switch up what? That's the thing. What are you looking to switch up? The amount of money that the man makes? His physical appearance? What? Are you looking for a man who is less alpha than you? It blows my mind, man.
And let yourself be full woman, full feminine, full that. I always say I'm hybrid, meaning I'm alpha-submissive, because I'm definitely alpha, but I'm definitely submissive. And I couldn't be with a man that I couldn't be submissive with. Like, if my alpha is always in.
How the hell can those two things make sense? Those two things cannot operate in the same space. I'm alpha-submissive. An alpha is never submissive. An alpha takes advice, but he's never submissive. And a woman can never be a damn alpha. I don't understand why you women don't get that. The only time you can be an alpha over a man is if you can kick his ass physically. Because once you have applied yourself mentally and you break him or you confront him mentally, alphas will respond in a more physical fashion. That's what men do. And we know as men, you do not attack an alpha. But because usually that's a man that's going to come back at you and destroy your ass. If that alpha is physically stronger than you, he's going to freaking beat you to a pulp. If he's more financially superior to you, he's going to rake you and kill you in the courts. So I don't understand why you think that these two things can be the same. You cannot be an alpha and be submissive. Alphas are never submissive. That's why they call them bloody alphas. Jesus. I don't understand how this woman got her doctorates.
Prone with you, then I like submitting. I like loving on you.
You hit exactly where I want to go. So in this, because even in the way you conduct yourself, even the intellect and the wisdom that you possess, it comes off very alpha and probably is intimidating to a lot of men. And then so either you find yourself being combative with another alpha.
Oh, I wish men would stop giving women this pass about intimidating. Unless the woman can kick your ass, there's nothing intimidating about you. Gentlemen, ladies, you have to understand that if the man is asking you to marry him, right? And you conduct yourself where you make yourself out of contention for that man's request. You're not intimidating. The man just don't like something about you. It has nothing to do with intimidation. I do not want to deal with that attitude, that personality that you have. Therefore, you are not my choice. This idea about intimidation, please stop it. Intimidation basically means a fear of. You know what? Let me look up the definition of intimidation. What does intimidate mean? Frighten or overawe someone, especially in order to make them do what one wants. You get my point? Women do not freaking intimidate men to get what they want and turn them off. They are good at manipulating. That's a totally different word. But to intimidate, no. They're not intimidating. They're frustrating, and they turn men off. And when a man turns off, that literally just means that he's not going to pick you. That's all.
So either you find yourself being combative with another alpha, or you find yourself overtaking a man that can't match that energy.
I love that. I love that you said that.
Oh, Nick. Combative with another alpha basically means that the man is not going to pick you. Men do not want to come home to be combative with a woman. And she would be the perfect example of a combative wife. It is clear as day. I wouldn't want to come home and have to deal with this on a daily basis. Hell no. No.
Love that you said that. My last fiance was epitome of alpha. Just alpha. No beta, alpha. And it actually showed me submissive sides of me that I didn't know exist, that I fell in love with. And so when you're with an alpha who's a true alpha, there is safety there. And everything about your femininity, about your submissiveness will arise, and everything about your alpha dormants naturally. And so we didn't have an alpha battle because it was something about his true alpha essence that turned me on so much that I wanted to stay in my feminine so that he can stay in the balancing.
Oh, shit. She's alpha widowed. So Chad been in there, he dug it up, and she didn't walk away from that. He did, because he saw a confrontational woman. This is so clear as day. Think about it. Why would a woman walk away from an alpha being in her submissive? Women don't walk away from that, my friends. When you find that alpha, when you find that leader, that strong alpha, I'm repeating what she's saying, you don't turn that down. So this idea that, she turned down 4 proposals, it's a bloody lie. Or either he wasn't one of those that asked her. That's probably what it is, actually. Think about it. He probably wasn't one of the 4 that asked her to marry him. Let's go through it. Let's see if she says it or not.
Right of alpha, because had I moved to alpha, we wouldn't have been equally yoked. Does that make sense? Either he would have had to go beta, or we would have done this. And his alphaness, because it was the first time I was with a true alpha man, was so attractive to me that from the kitchen to the bedroom, it made me wide open submissive in ways that I didn't even, I remember saying I don't want to do them things. And I started saying, when we going to do them things again? Because I was so in my feminine. And let me say this, ladies and Nick, that one experience may have not worked, but that is what ignited my femininity in me. And from there, Nick, I've never gone back. Like every man that I've calibrated has been in his alpha that has allowed me to stay in my submissiveness. Okay. Does that make sense? And so it's the law.
It doesn't freaking make sense. It doesn't. You're bullshitting. The point is, all the alpha men, all the powerful men that you've met thereafter did not want you. That's the problem. That's why you're still single at 41. You're now alpha widowed. Once you've tasted an alpha, my friends, it's difficult, ladies, to go back. 41.
I'm a PhD.
Okay, PhD. Congratulations.
That man was so pivotal in shifting my calibration for me that even though it didn't work, that was a blessing in itself.
There it is. Okay, so as we wrap up, get into your business just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're sharing a lot. You already done beat me up for session after session. So as transparent and as candid as you would like to be, You said, like, literally there's been 4 times that you've almost went down the altar.
I almost went down.
Yeah. Well, taking the long walk.
I'm taking that long haul.
Why hasn't it worked? And whose fault is it? Because you've been talking about accountability.
Yep.
You've been talking about high functioning, and you literally told me that I'm probably in my situation because of the type of high functioning and low functioning people I'm choosing.
Yep.
Why hasn't it worked for you?
Because for the first few, I was low functioning, and I was still in my healing journey. And so I law of attracted low functioning. And
in the first, you're saying that happened all 4 or just the first?
The first, I would say like the first 2 or 3. Definitely low functioning of myself. So
and when you say that, because I want you to break that down, like, what were you desiring? How were you low functioning that found things that where you thought this was your match, this was your person, and then it still didn't go through because you were low functioning?
I take accountability. It was my fault because I knew all of them were not my person from the beginning.
So, and there is a person? There's one person out there for you?
I don't think there's one person. I think that there's many people that are for everyone.
Say yes to 4 men. What kind of brain would you have to say yes to 4 men who've asked you to marry them and then realize, yeah, this isn't for me? To me, that just doesn't make sense. Either she's lying about the number of men who've asked her to marry her, or those men pull the plug after they realize that she's just insufferable. I'm just speculating, but it just don't make sense. How can a woman get 4 proposals before age 41 and never ever married? Something's wrong with this woman.
That are for everyone. I think that is just
so you're a type of person, you're a person that's on your frequency.
The type of person that you feel I want to do this with you forever. I think that's your person. If that happens 4 or 5 times, hey, that's amazing. You know, for me, I knew that I didn't want to do any of them forever. Not because they weren't great men.
Not because they weren't great men. Who wouldn't want to marry a great man? Please, I'm open. I'm open to anything. Who here, which woman watching this would not want to marry a great man? Man, just listening to this woman talk out the side of her mouth just drives me insane. She's supposed to be a therapist. Every single word that comes out of her mouth should make sense to any listener. Wow.
I knew subconsciously that I was choosing because they were what I needed for that season. And I, got caught up in, we're here. This man is amazing, faithful as hell, loves me, takes full care of me, even though I'm in my own professional field. And so I learned not to thrive, but to survive in that. And because I'm a little girl who grew up surviving and not thriving, I didn't understand what thriving was yet. And so I allowed my survival mechanism and my lack of sense of self, right, and my brokenness to choose what it needed there. And because it chose something that allowed me to stay broken, I stayed longer. Does that make sense? Because what they were feeding me, which was allowing me to be toxic, allowing me to be dysfunctional in that relationship, and even allowing me sometimes to be abusive, even if it was verbally in that relationship.
There we go. Thank you. She was bloody abusive. That's the problem. The man wasn't the problem. The man was amazing. She was the nightmare. Yeah, making sense now, my friends.
Without fleeing, because these men were not fleers, without fleeing or at least saying, hold on, this is not cool. We got to figure this out. It was just, I love you. And like you were saying about these babies being number 1, you can run amok and I'm going to be right here for the muck 2 or 3. That may be what we want coming from abandoned little control freaks, but that ain't what we need. And so when I had that, all it did was inflame the dysfunction that I was.
Right.
Luckily, I was able to look in the mirror and say, hold on, I'm looking at all this inflammation. I don't want this with me and my husband. I don't want this for my kids. I don't want this for me as a woman. I don't want this for my other relationships. And then when I pulled out other relationships, I ended up doing a lot of looking at myself. So over this 4 years I've been single, I have said no before the ring. I've said no at the conversation of, I would love to marry you. I didn't say no bluntly, but I said, look, that's not something I'm ready for now.
Right.
Maybe we could take a little slow. But in 4 years, and I say this with all humility, I promise all humility, whatever it is that I calibrate, whatever it is in me, whatever daddy issues my father made sure I did not have,
right.
There's something about me, I'm not joking, that calibrates really good men who are ready to get married. And so this is why I say it's not their fault, because these men wasn't no infidelity. These men wasn't, they weren't beating on me. I attract good men, but I wasn't in the space of being ready to marry them because I needed them to be good
too, though.
Yeah,
like you talking
but
about,
I needed them to be good. But I
Yeah.
needed them to be good for me, Nick, because I needed something good to be reflected on me, if that makes sense, for my healing journey.
Jesus, man, women can just talk crap. Bottom line is, you were an aggressive, abusive woman, found 4 good men to actually ask you to marry them, and then in your abusive state, apparently you left them. They weren't great men, you left them. Make that shit make sense. And you actually had an alpha male, the supreme man who drove you wild with excitement, and he controlled, he was there for you, and you left them. It is illogical. It's not logical, my friend. I'm sorry to say it. I'm listening to you and you're not making a word of sense.
I think for me, being a successful woman, the biggest thing has been, and the biggest conversation with my father and I and my uncle Montel is, Shy, what if you make more than him? Are you okay with that? Because there was a time where I wasn't okay with it. And now I've gotten to a place where I do so well, that I'm saying, well, if he does make a little less, but he can't,
so you
but
can
he
get a
can
bus
provide.
driver and a janitor a shot.
If the janitor owns a janitorial company.
Oh, see, now he got to own the whole damn company.
But this
he
is the
can't
thing.
even be a good janitor.
Let me say this. It doesn't matter how much more I make than him. If he can provide for us and provide a quality of life for us, I don't really give it.
But
I don't care.
You the one that's doing that.
For myself.
But if you're clearly at a level where you can take care, so he don't necessarily got to put, and he could be a provider and a protector
take care
without
of my man
financially. Yeah.
I don't, for me personally, I wouldn't, only because it would put me too much in an alpha.
There we go, gentlemen. At 41, I will not marry the bus driver unless he owns the company. Same shit, same MO, same BS we get from these women. These strong, independent women. Women make money for themselves, then they try to look for a man who makes more that's going to spend it on her. You cannot make this shit up. It is the most frustrating thing to listen to, and these women will never ever learn. That is why they got to buy a dog, cats, and die alone. Big house, loads of cats. It is not rocket science. No high value, freaking high functioning man would look at this and say, yes, I want to marry this.
Respect.
Searching for when we enter the house wouldn't be
When
there.
you say daddy's home, that means more than just your home and your presence.
So now you just narrowed your circle so much smaller, because now you got to have a high functioning, high value,
yes. And let me tell you something though,
rich ass man.
or at least if he ain't rich, he got to be doing something that makes. And I'm not saying rich, he just has to be
rich in spirit.
This is what I've learned. This is what I've learned. I've learned that it's not the amount of money that someone makes.
Bullshit. It is the amount of money that someone makes. Let's hear the crap that she's going to try to tell you about now. Because this is the reason why she needs the janitor that owns the janitorial company, not the janitor.
That creates the quality of life. Because I have constituencies that make way less and way more than me.
He has to create the quality of life that she wants. How the hell do you think you're going to do that with less money than her? Blows my mind that this is a therapist, man. That's what bothers me. I expect to hear crap like this from some of those girls on Bloody Fresh and Fit. There's no difference. Or that dating show, what's it called with Bryant? Gosh, I can't remember. I'll flash it on the screen as I'm going in the edit. These women who have no education sounds just like this educated one, but she just sounds like an educated version of them. But it's the same shit that you hear from women. Female nature are the same wherever it comes from, my friend.
Constituents that make way more, I'm talking about astronomically more than me, I live the same quality of life they do.
So you just want somebody with some initiative and some aspiration?
So you just want somebody with some initiative and some aspirations and dreams. No,
I'm 41. So somebody who he ain't.
Is he done dreaming?
Can he
be a younger man?
He may have to, because I want a man with no kids, because I want my own family.
You want a man with no kids?
So go on down,
Nick. This nigga ain't out there. You looking for Jesus.
Yes.
And he still ain't came back.
Can we please find Jesus? Jesus.
You want a single,
Jesus could carry the cross.
rich,
Jesus could be
high-functioning, smart.
Yes.
That nigga is not. He got
Jesus
bitches.
Jesus could be crucified and saved and resurrected. Yes, God, bring me Jesus.
There is no single man with no kids that is rich.
Nick,
I date them. Does not know.
I date them. I date them all the time.
They ain't where they at.
Baby, I date them. They're dating. We're still dating. I don't have to rush into marriage because
that are. Yes. Single.
Yes.
Fully single.
Fully
not
single.
Just you.
Fully single.
Such a pile of crap. Rich men are dating her. Yeah, sure, they're blowing the back out. They're not interested in anything else. She's not a bad-looking woman. I don't know how she look under that weave, but bottom line is that dating in today's environment means that, hey, these guys are blowing my back out. We go out to dinners, they blow my back out, I go back home. Ooh, tell me the value in that. Holy crap. This is textbook, my friends. Textbook BS. Another woman coping with the fact that she has hit the wall over 10 years ago, and because she has a PhD, she thinks that is her value. Wow.
No kids.
No kids, baby. And they're younger, though. They're 32, 33. They're younger, yes. I'm not saying they 40. They are younger.
All right. But even those dudes, come on now.
No,
You telling me those men that you talking about don't got options?
I'm sure they do, but why? I'm not concerned with options.
And so, so because as high valued as you are and as high functioning you are, they're probably that's why they got those out there.
I want to say that this is the thing about being high functioning and calibrating someone who's high functioning. It's very good, but you got to be ready for that, because they also come on their square as well saying, I'm high functioning. And so,
oh, Jesus, she's going to go off into some mumbo-jumbo crap now. Listen, that is her explaining who she is. I'm now going to play the Nick Cannon version, basically where she interviewed and peppered Nick Cannon into this whole high-functioning crap. This is the part that went viral. This is where she tried putting him down, but this is where I identified a little bit too much of a personal touch to what she was asking. I'll pause it when I hear it, okay?
How do I take these moving parts and make them a collective whole? Because I'm feeling a lot of brokenness and division and a lot of stuff that's going on. However, I see a man who at the core is a great man, has great character, wants to be better, wants to have better character, wants to show up for people better, wants to be the best father he could be, trying to figure out how he can do that, still figuring out a sense of self, stands on his square, stands on business, sometimes too much to where standing on that business can mess some things up. So what I'm saying is all those things I said I see in you are just the things that are really in me, because I can't see past myself.
So now she's comparing herself, her level of accomplishment and her level of being a high-functioning woman to Nick Cannon. All right? Just understand that. All right? Woo!
Okay. Right. And so when you're in a relationship and you're in this hostile argument or a calm argument and you decide to get up and walk out, you're not fleeing from what you keep saying is the argument or her anger. You're fleeing from the reflection of yourself. So when we think that we're fleeing from this conversation of what you're saying to me, I'm fleeing from the very best thing that I need, which is reflecting to me how I see you showing up with me, because you're just a mirror. And so if I can sit in that emotion with you, you have to have that awareness, right? Of saying, hold on, Nick, look, like it's a lot of stuff going on in you right now that just don't sit right with me, because it's a direct reflection of who I am.
You ain't have to read me like that. But
let me go further, because we're talking about black men. So we're talking about fleeing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about fleeing. We can blame it on abandonment issues. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about accountability, black men, when they're fleeing anything, fleeing from being a father, fleeing from being a husband, fleeing from the argument, fleeing from accountability, they're just fleeing from themselves. And that's why there's no personal self-growth, because words don't teach, experience does. And so if I can't sit in this experience with you, then what the hell am I learning from this experience? If every time I flee, I go back to my dysfunctional norm, where is the growth within myself? At this point, it becomes not even about you. Right. It becomes about Dr. Bryant trying to be better for me.
Black men rarely flee. It is not the black men fleeing, my dear. It is the black woman pushing men away because they know that the state is going to take care of them much better. The less the black man is around, the more the state will pay them. They are married to the state. So please stop this crap about black men fleeing. Black men who are involved with their kids, who want to be involved with their kids, it's amazing. You know how many calls I get per freaking week from black men who are struggling to get more time with their kids. Struggling. I have never ever had a call from one black man yet who has said, she just want to give me my child and I don't have time for that child. Every single man who calls me is dying, crying, in pain because that woman uses the very tool that she knows that hurts him. Take that child away from him. So this idea of a black man fleeing away from his family is a pile of bullshit. It annoys me when I hear women use this excuse. Oh, you got to fight for your kid. Why would I have to? And why should a man have to fight for his kids? It's his just as much as it is yours. Any good woman should want to have the husband involved or the baby daddy involved, so it takes some pressure off of her. But no, she knows that if she holds on to him, daddy's state will pay her more. This, my friend, is what you don't understand. This kind of crap, this language that she's using is just freaking pure out lying.
Everything that you said, the only addendum or additive that I would put in, I feel like the fleeing, whether it's in general, like you talk about what black men do, or specifically if it's you and I in a heated scenario, I'm fleeing from the lack of control.
Okay.
Because when there is no control, there's chaos. And in that setting, if you on high, I'm on high, and I know that it can only bubble over because neither one of us have control of the moment or of our emotions, it's only going to get worse. So, and even in that, with using that same, analogy of how black men just flee from everything.
Let me say,
we're fleeing from the thing because we don't have control of the system.
Everyone has the capacity to flee, but because our topic is mostly black men and mental health, I want to make it clear. No. Black women flee too, but we're talking about black men and mental health. We're personalizing it with me because I know that is who I am. And it's because I only run when I'm like, you know what, I don't have control over this situation.
There we go. The brother is hitting the nail on the head. He has to flee. Because anytime there's conflict, if he is pushing and he's the one pushing for control, because the woman always wants control. He wants control. He's the man. He should be in control, but not in today's environment. The woman has been told that she needs to be the freaking one in control. So this woman is pushing for control. He's pushing for control. And if he starts to get more control, guess what she's going to do? She's going to lash out either physically or psychologically, and if he retaliates in any shape or form, she just calls popo. The state has her back. So the man has no choice at that point but to flee, get out of the situation before it escalates. This is the major thing that most women don't understand about conflict in the West. The man is always wrong. The police will take him out of the situation. They never takes the wife or the kids out of the situation unless both parents are harming the kids. That's the thing. But 99% of the time, the man has to leave the house. He doesn't flee. He's kicked out. So yeah, the man has to get out of the situation. Because once he loses control, that's it.
Yeah. And as someone who likes control, I'll be back when I have control.
But okay, I love that. This is so good. What is control?
A song Janet Jackson put out in the 80s.
Right, exactly. You see?
Control.
See? Don't deflect. Bring it back here. Don't deflect. You see, he just fleed. That's it, fleeing. Bring it back. Bring it back. You ain't fleeing. At the root of control, what is control? For one, it's an illusion. What is at the root of control?
Ego.
Okay, then that's fine. What is ego?
What
is ego?
Ego?
The root of ego is what?
It's protecting my vulnerabilities.
It's an insecure little boy. That's what the root of control is, because it's an illusion.
Wow. A little boy, an immature little boy. Is that what she said? A boy. Ego. That's not what control is, my friend. Control is being in charge, having a grip on things, okay? Having the final say, being able to dictate your life, being able to look at something logically as a man and saying, hey, this is what I think is best. But women will try to freaking make it sound like it's nothing. But when they have it, it's something. It's not an illusion then. Jesus, man, you listen to this woman and you wonder why women are so messed up? Holy Christ. Control is what alphas do. They control situations. Control, in charge. You cannot be in charge of something if you have no control over it. You cannot lead something if you're not in control of it. You cannot steer a relationship if you're not in control of it. It has nothing to do with freaking ego. Tell me I'm wrong. But this woman is just trying to make this man feel like he is not adequate.
Okay? Because when we control anything.
It's not illusion when you yelling, I'm yelling.
No, we're talking about the control piece.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Neither one of us have control because our emotions are on high.
But you have two people who are at the peak of a mental health freaking breakdown. A mental health issue.
No control.
So again.
What does that have to do with control? You see how she diffuses and cover up and smooth over with these massive amount of words instead of just coming back to what is the central issue that most people have in relationships. Who has control? Who has the final say? Who is leading the relationship? Man, I never did 1 day of therapy. I've done a lot of psychology courses in college, but it was more towards business, understanding business. But this is just freaking common sense to listen to this woman with these bullshit. I mean, guys, you tell me if I'm wrong. What the hell does control mean? Insecurity? Ego?
And the way that you gain control is by two things. You use two tools. You cannot shift or change anything about you unless you shift or change your experience. So as long as you keep fleeing,
that's why I'm shifting my ass out the door.
But that's what you've been doing. But that allows you to stay in abandonment. That allows you to stay.
I'm comfortable with my abandonment
because you are in your dysfunctional norm that you've become comfortable with.
But it's worked. It's become a superpower.
But you've learned to survive in it. You're not thriving in that. That's not thriving. You're surviving in that.
Okay.
And so anytime you are surviving and not thriving, there is no cape. There is no superpower.
You're actually looking at this man, multi-millionaire, who have multiple women who want his child, can afford to pay for them, and tell him he's not high functioning. Tell me how the hell that makes sense. Wow. You understand why therapy is not for men? Can you see it right here? Finding a female therapist is not for you, gentlemen. Because this is the kind of bullshit, the woo-woo, double-speak BS that you're going to get from these sessions.
There's no superpower in a lack of mental health. And there's no superpower.
But it's worked for me. Like you said, I mean, you know why it worked
read
for you? Me well.
You know why it worked for you?
Why?
You know why it worked for you? I'm going to go there, and it's probably going to be, okay.
Go ahead.
This is with
we got 2 minutes left in our first session.
With all due respect, seriously, to all the women that you've encountered, ladies, I'm saying this. The reason why it's worked for you is because you have chosen and to prey on low-functioning women who don't have the emotional intelligence. No, I'm going there. Who will allow you to do that, Nick? And when I say allow, it's not a control thing. When I say allow, I'm not saying that she sits across you and says, this is what you won't do. You're crossing a boundary. Nick.
I disagree.
Wow. And this is where I get a little bit iffy about her whole aura on this therapy session. Because here she has just put down every single woman that the man has had a baby mama with. Beautiful, brilliant women. Okay? I say they're brilliant because they've taken the easiest way to a meal ticket. And they're beautiful enough to actually find other men to also love them and also commit to them. Those are the top of the top women. Those aren't low-functioning women. These are women who are smart. Now, you guys might not agree with me. Think about it. I want you gentlemen to think about it. Anytime you want to question somebody else, put yourself in their position first. If I was a woman, if you were a beautiful woman and I saw a guy like Nick Cannon and he fell in love with me and I had the opportunity to make my life a lot better by simply having one child, moving from a one-bedroom studio apartment in the worst part of my city, escalating myself to the best lifestyle I could get. Anybody can get, really. Wouldn't you do it? And all it took was your looks, a smile, open up your legs. That's it. A smile, some beautiful conversation. Guess what? Have a beautiful child. I'm done. They're functioning at their peak. So now she's degrading the other woman. But look how she builds herself now and calls herself a high-functioning woman. This is where I question whether she's not wanting to be the next baby mama.
Because, first of all,
low-functioning woman will allow you to function low with them, Nick. You could not function that low.
So this is, Nick, everyone's low-functioning at some point in their life.
You could not function low with a woman of my functioning. Not because I'm superior. Not because I'm superior.
There we go. There we go. There we go, my friends. Oh, unbelievable. Those women that you have are low functioning. I am a high functioning woman. I got a PhD. Whew, this is amazing listening to this. You're learning so much from this, gentlemen. You should learn a lot of lessons from this.
Listen to them. You said this really quick. Not because I'm superior to any other woman, but because I do have leverage. I've been in my field for 17 years, so we get that. But I've done...
Oh, not because I'm superior, but I am superior. This is what women do all the time.
By the people who are trying to match with me. And listen, I don't think I'm the prettiest girl in the world. Like, I think I'm, like, kind of cute sometimes. But, like, I look at these people who are trying to match with me. And I'm like, are these really the people that are interested in me and think they have a chance with me? Like, come on. There has to be better than this. I know I could do better than that.
Same shit she's saying. Oh.
At some point, everybody's going to be in their low state. Everybody's going to be vulnerable. Everybody's going to feel empty.
But
everybody's going to yearn something.
Mental health,
and when it comes to relationships, the beauty of a great relationship is where I'm weak, you are strong. So therefore, I have dealt with some people that balance me and are equally yoked. And at times, have I been manipulative and prey on certain things? Yes, because I'm a man.
Right. And but not all men do that. We don't want to blanket all men.
And I was taking advantage.
Do not prey and manipulate. Not all men.
First of all humans prey and manipulate.
We don't want to blanket all men. The only men that don't do that, take advantage of situations, is the ones who can't. This woman just blows my mind. Not all men do that. No. The ones that don't do it can't do it. All great men, all great achievers are freaking ruthless bastards. No man have never accomplished anything simply because he's a great, most humble. No man, none that have achieved greatness have never freaking been ruthless. That's what winning is. You gotta have a ruthless freaking part of you. Otherwise, people would never win games. You gotta be able to take the guy out. That's who we are as men.
Manipulate, but in a man in a relationship,
not in a praying way.
If I see that I can say, okay, I feel like I need this and this person has this, I'm gonna do and say whatever I need to do to get that.
But Nick, again, law of attraction. We attract who we are despite of who we think we are. You used the word, you said women who are equally yoked to you.
Yeah.
Equally yoked comes in many different facets.
100%. Balance, if anything.
They have been equally yoked to your low functioning dysfunction that you have learned to survive in.
Because I use my tools to, because first of all, you're acting as if I'm entering every scenario with the full me, and every time someone meets someone, you're meeting their representative. I know how to turn on the perfect man.
Depending on the person,
therefore, I may have manipulated a situation, and therefore, so it's to no discredit to anyone else,
I got
but
you.
I've come into every situation. I can be God-fearing, celibate, the one that you want. I can tell you everything that you want in a man and show you that. I can open the doors, lay down the cloak, send the jet, do it all to be like, oh my goodness, I've never. And then Toxic Nick shows up, and you like, this motherfucker got me.
No, but
he done gave me the draws, and I ain't heard from him in 3 weeks.
What you said is perfect. No, what you said is perfect because you named all of the low-functioning, superficial things that a low-functioning woman would fall into.
Church,
women,
that ain't low-functioning.
Baby, any woman,
we going to see the Lord together.
Any woman or man,
or the mosque, wherever you want to go. I know them both.
Any person who's done the work fall into.
Church,
women.
Oh, this woman is so full of shit. Women want resources. She's the weak of the two sexes. She wants resources. If a man like Nick showed up with the plane, the jets, the freaking Bentleys, the Rolls Royces, the stuff, I don't give a shit who she is. High functioning, low functioning, mid functioning, she's going to take notice. I don't understand why this woman is painting this illusion for other women to think that this isn't the way the world works. Who is she trying to fool? I don't get it. And call it what? Low functioning? What the hell is a function? This man is functioning at his optimum. I would love to be able to function like him to achieve what he has achieved because he works damn hard. So tell me, how is that a low functioning man? And when you're in your low functioning, this idiot is trying to make a great man feel less of a great man. Nick is doing exactly what other great men have done. He have impregnated many of his concubines in the old days. That's what it was. And it's so obvious because this is the reason why he has so many women impregnated. He can pass on his seed to many different women. All great men have done that. So she's trying to make him go against his biology and shame him for it. I can guarantee you, if Nick said right now, hey, listen, I really love you, man. Let me fly you off here. Let me do this for you. And he throw that thing on her. A couple months from now, she'd be happy to be number what? Number 10, 11? I don't know how many babies he has at this point. She'd be happy to do it because she's 41 and she's not going to find any other high-value man that want to freaking marry her. She can cry all she want about, oh, I want a traditional family and a young guy and no babies. Bullshit. You get to that desperate stage where, listen, time has ran out. She's literally 5 feet from the finish line at this point before her eggs start to freaking disappear, where it is highly, highly improbable that she could get pregnant and have a safe pregnancy naturally. This woman just blows my mind, man. Give me a thumbs up on your way out. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, join our membership system. Book a chat with me. Let's have a conversation. I'm not a therapist, but I'll tell you a shitload about life that you probably haven't discovered yet. All right? So until next time, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. See you in the next one. Cheers.